Hello, good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here, and today we're talking about what I believe is simply the best all-around battleship in the game, and that is the Tier 10 American battleship, the Montana. Well, mainline American battleship, the Montana. So, the Montana is tied for being the oldest Tier 10 battleship in the game, along with the Tier 10 Japanese battleship, the Yamato. And the Montana, this is my first Tier 10 ship, and this is what I believe every single new battleship player should get as their first Tier 10. The American Battleship line is a very good line for new players. It teaches you a lot about angling, positioning, leading the target, this, that, and the other, and it's a pretty forgiving class for, well, forgiving line, I should say, for new players with the improved heal. So today we're going to be taking a look back at the Montana and talk about how she does in today's World of Warships and all that jazz, like we did a few weeks ago with quite a few older ships in the game. And what better ship to look at than the literal oldest Tier 10 battleship in the game, again with the Yami. So let's go ahead and take a look at her stats and such, and these stats are with my build equipped, just a standard battleship survivability build that I run on almost all of my battleships. So let's go ahead and take a look at her. First off, though, the footage you're watching in the background. DD players, do everyone a favor, try to make it past the 5-minute mark. I had so many games when I was trying to record background footage for this video. It was 5 DDs and like 1 sub aside for literally 5 games in a row, and for whatever reason my DDs always died in the first like 2 minutes of the match. So DD players, if you make it past the 5-minute mark, you survive, you spot for your team, you have no idea how much of a help you are being to your team. And quite some fun trying to get some footage for this ship in the background. Just want to get that off my chest because I'm just coming off of this 5-game streak. But the game you're watching in the background is a pretty good game to show the strengths of the Montana. So let's go ahead and talk about the Montana stats. Like I said, we were going to. First off, its armor. It's what you'd expect after going up the American battleship line, especially once you get to the Iowa. You got 32 millimeters bow and stern, with the stern and bow deck both being 32. Middle deck is 38. Upper belt's 38 as well. Its main belt is 409 millimeters of armor, and its citadel is 259 millimeters of armor. Now, quite some time ago, the Montana, along with the Iowa, Missouri, got their citadels lowered to below the waterline, which helped them out quite a bit in terms of survivability. So their citadel's pretty difficult to get at, although not impossible when firing from longer ranges or at point blank range when the ship is maneuvering hard over. But it's not like the North Carolina, which you have to play through to get this ship, where it's like the easiest thing in the world to citadel from almost any angle if you have halfway decent AP. And again, like I mentioned in the opening of the video, you do get that improved American BB Hill to make up for that as well. Not that the arm is bad or anything. It is coded in 32 everywhere, so a lot of HE spammy ships will be able to pin your bow deck, stern deck, and of course your superstructure as well. Many ships will be able to pin your upper belt with the addition of so many more HE spammy heavy cruisers. And again, if some people really just want to throw everything into HE pin, those that run IFHE on some of the larger DD guns and such. So, survivability, she has 96,300 hit points and 37% torpedo damage reduction. Now, her main feature is that she does get 12 of the American 16-inch guns. These are the same guns that you will find on the Iowa. And they get a 30-second reload time with these guns. Maximum dispersion with the build that I have on her of 298 meters with a maximum range of 27.4 kilometers. Her AP shells do a maximum damage of 13,500 and travel at 762 meters a second. Her HE shells do a maximum damage of 5,700. They have a 36% chance of causing a fire, 68 millimeters of pin, and they travel at 820 meters a second. Now the AP is that super heavy American AP, so it punches really well. It's some great AP. That being said, in real life, of course, this AP shell at long range had pretty similar performance to the Yamato's 18.1-inch shell, and in-game, it's, I'd say, almost reflective. Of course, you can't overmatch like Yami Shell can, but when these AP shells connect, good God, will it absolutely blap a target. We talked about this when we did the Iowa video, but now you have 12 of these guns, and boy, when these shells connect to cruisers, battleships showing battleships showing broadside, battleships in general, when they bite, like on the German battleships that have the big superstructure, you can easily just cleave 15, 16k off of German BB superstructure. That's not even with a good hit. That's a pretty average hit. With a good hit, you can easily cleave 20,000 plus damage off of the superstructure on a German battleship when they can pin, and they do pin quite often thanks to that slow velocity. 762 meters a second is really slow by Tier 10 standards in terms of battleship shell velocity. So, again, like we said with the Iowa, where you will be getting a lot of overpins and such, you'll be getting more pins with the American AP because of how slow it is. Now, is it like not Japanese, British battleship short fuse AP? No, it's not as good as that. It still packs a punch. It still does pin very well, but you'll be getting slightly more pins than overpins compared to if you were saying using a Kremlin or something like that with fast shells. And of course, against cruisers, that same thing applies there. You will be citadeling the crap out of cruisers that give you the proper angle, as you'll see in this video. And it's just great for dealing with cruisers, especially at medium range. Now, you do have a 27.4 kilometer range on the Montana. Are you ever going to actually fire out that far? Yeah, sometimes you'll need to because it's Tier 10, but at that range with the velocity of the shells and the shell arcs, and it's not that great at that range, but it can hit, especially with 12 guns. But you'll be mostly shooting at targets that are moving very slowly or stationary at that range. Those will be the ones you'll be able to get hits on. Can it get hit to that range? Yes, but by then the travel time's so just insane that the player you're shooting at will have to be absolutely oblivious to you and not even sneeze on their keyboard to make sure that your shells hit. But they are very good at that range. You get a very nice plunging fire effect, and that's when you get a fair few amount of citadels, as you see the shell arcs in the clip you're watching in the background right now. They arc down really hard, so at that range you get a lot of plunging fire through the deck of the enemy ships and into the citadel, so it's great for that. So overall, the guns on the ship are great. I love them. AA, the ship used to be an AA queen, not an AA queen, I'm sorry, the AA queen of the game, but of course after the CV rework, that got toned down quite a bit, but today the ship does still have good AA. You will definitely make CVs think about going after you. The Russian CVs being able to drop their ordnance on the edge of your AA, they'll get through, of course, but you will make them pay more so than other ships. Am I saying you're going to wipe out their entire squadron? No, but you'll be able to take out a plane or two with these Russian CVs. Other CVs, you will be taking out probably 2 or 3 or 4 planes if your AA stays intact long enough throughout the match. Maneuverability, she is a big girl, so even with the speed flag, she only goes 31.5 knots. And she has a 950 meter turning circle radius with a very slow 22-second rudder shift time. Again, this ship's absolutely massive. Concealment's pretty good, 14 kilometer concealment on the Montana with the concealment module and the concealment captain skill. That's decent for a ship of this size, although again, you have ships like the Conqueror that used to have like an 11.4 concealment back in the day. Now it's down to, I think, 12.1 and 12.2. So, not the worst. Definitely not the worst, but definitely not the best either in the Montana. For her consumables, you get your choice of fighter or spotter. I use fighter because 27.4 kilometer range on the ships, more than enough to be able to hit anything that you need to, or at least shoot at it and hope you hit. The hill, like I said, it is the improved American Battleship hill. It's active for 30.8 seconds, and you get 762 HP back per second for those 30.8 seconds. You get 5 consumables with the Superintendent skill on, and it gets the very nice American Damage Con. The damage con is active for 22 seconds, and during that 22 seconds, no fires or floodings will be able to happen on your ship. So that is a very, very nice consumable to have in today's World of Warships, and has a 76-second load time. Alright, so the Montana in today's World of Warships, how has she aged? Considering this is one of the oldest, well, not one of the oldest, the oldest ship in the game, or I should say tied for the oldest ship in the game with the other original ships added in. She's aged fantastically well, just like the Iowa, and just like the Iowa too. She's received quite a few changes over the years that has definitely helped her out. Again, especially with that lowering of the Citadel and getting the improved American Battleship Hill, that has definitely helped her keep up in today's World of Warships. On top of that, too, she does, just like the Iowa, get the special American BB modules, Artillery Plotting Room Mod 1 instead of Aiming Systems Mod 1, which gives you a boost to your main battery gun range by 16%, and gives you a boost to your secondary battery firing range by 5%, and a buff to the dispersion of the secondary batteries by 5% as well. And then you get Artillery Plotting Room Mod 2 and the final slot on your mods, which decreases your dispersion by 11%. So you have pretty darn good, consistent dispersion with the Montana because of that module, and that's very, very, very nice to have, especially on a 12-gun battleship with these guns. So in today's World of Warships, she does pretty darn well still thanks to those changes. The healing buff that she got with the new heal, that helps her to recover a lot more from the HE spam that has such infested the game today. Her AA still holds up pretty well, given, of course, the changes with the CV rework and even with the new Soviet CVs. I've been finding myself in the Montana at least shooting down a fair few more planes from the Soviet CVs than in other ships. And she still very much has a place today in World of Warships. If you watch COTS or play CBs, you'll see there's Montanas, like, everywhere, because she's such a good ship. Her guns are so consistent, and what's really refreshing about her, compared to, well, pretty much every new battleship line that we've been getting recently, is that she's not gimmicky. And by gimmicky, I mean she doesn't have some gimmicky consumable that does something pretty zany for the class, like the Italian battleships with their smokescreen, or the engine boosts that we're getting on some battleships, or the reload boosters that we're getting on some battleships, so forth and so on. She just got her characteristics and her traits, and that's it. And sure, you could argue that the module is a bit of a gimmick, and it kind of is, but it's not something like, again, like a consumable that the whole line is dependent upon to perform decently with. She's just got what she has, and that's it. What you see is what you get with the Montana. There's, again, no real hidden gimmick about it, and I do like that quite a lot, and I do believe that's what really helped this ship maintain her performance over the years. It's just she's a well-designed ship, like a lot of the older ships are. And I'm not saying all the newer ships are all dependent upon gimmicks. A lot of them are, but we've gotten some pretty solid ones too in the past couple of years that are just some solid ships as well. And the Montana, playing her in random battles when I had spotting to shoot at things, she did well. Like I said at the beginning of the video, my DDs were speedrunning, back to port any percent a lot of times, but when you can see what you're shooting at, the ship does still perform well. The only thing is, of course, with the slower shells, that takes some time to get used to aiming like that. Now, what do I mean when I say the best all-around battleship? I mean that this ship is just like a lot of the American line's traits for the cruisers, DDs, battleships, and CVs. They're great jack of all trades, masters of none. You want to snipe in the Montana? It can be done. It's difficult to do, but it can be done. You want to play medium to close range? Can be done as well. Is it the perfect brawler? No, but with the lowered Citadel and the improved hill, she can get in there and deliver quite the heavy punch with her 12 guns. Great for that. Want a ship that's good at blapping cruisers out of the match with a slow AP and the super heavy AP shells? She's great for that. Want a ship that's great at punching BBs in the face? Again, with the slow AP shells and the improved American super heavy AP, she's great for that as well. She's also, again, like I said, with her concealment, she's not the most spotted ship in the game, not the most stealthiest ship either, but she can have enough stealth to remove herself from a situation that she doesn't need to be in. Her armor, and again with her heal, she is good enough to push into a flank and help a flank push. Good AA, just a great all-around ship. The only thing that she's really not good at is, well, secondaries, and there's some people that live and die by a Montana secondary build. I don't really agree with that. Your secondaries just, they're not the improved secondaries of the Ohio, but some people swear up and down that she's a great secondary ship, but in my opinion, that's really the only thing that she doesn't really do decently. And I mean, like, you can get your secondaries out there if you want to, you can build into the secondaries, but if you want a secondary Montana, just go regrind lines and get the Ohio. Much better experience, in my opinion, all the way around. So this ship is just a great ship for a new player to grind through. You learn a lot of the basics with this ship, hiding your side from the enemy team, because you won't get nuked off the map if you eat a broadside in most cases, but you're going to eat a lot of damage, and you're going to realize, oh crap, that's a bad thing, but you got the heal to fall back on. The guns, because of that slow AP, it makes you a great predictive shot once you get done grinding this line and once you get to the Montana. So much so that when you get to the rest of the battleships with their much faster AP, you can aim a lot easier then, because you're so used to having to give ships these huge leads and such. If you guys watch stream, it often takes me a match or two to get the hang of the American AP shells again, because I've been playing so many Germans or Russians, and you get used to that super fast AP. And again, just a great ship all around, and one that I would definitely recommend all the newer battleship players grind up the line first. A fantastic example of a well-designed ship standing the test of time. So guys, let me know what you guys think about the Montana in the comments down below. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 35,000 subs. We are doing a giveaway for 30,000 subs. Go check out yesterday's video to see how to enter that giveaway. Make sure you do so. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.